Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto IO, a place where I read you the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. My name is not important. I'm your host, LFG. Malaysia enlists China to help end USD dependence for trade. It's not looking good for us. No pun intended. Stablecoin issuer Tether accessed US banking system using signature. And Cash App creator dies following stabbing in San Francisco. Unfortunate news. I wanted to see what this is all about. Yeah, San Francisco isn't safe. I'm from there originally. Not San Francisco, California, and about an hour outside of San Francisco. Spent my youth growing up there and going there. It ain't safe no more. I don't care what anyone tells you. The place is crazy. Moving on to the market. Let's go. Market cap, guys, we are ticking up slowly but surely. Market cap sitting at $1.204 trillion. Bitcoin dominance has dropped a little bit to 45.8%. ETH dominance has climbed to 19.1%, and GUI is going up for 30 GUI for an ETH transaction. Last night we had some little movements out of Bitcoin and an okay movement out of Ethereum. We're going to look at that here in a second. On the 24-hour, 1% for Bitcoin, 4.25 for ETH, ETH at 5.3 for the week, and Bitcoin moving sideways. Weird. Anything else significant? Nothing too crazy, at least in the tops. Avalanche made a little bit of a move, 5.37. Uni 4.71. Lido's moving again. 10.39 on the day, 10.42 on the week. Arbitrum recovered, I guess, after the FUD. And I don't know how I'm like. It's funny. I go to these news sources and I just read the news, and then later find out that there's things that happen that I'm like, these news sources I go to read the news to you guys didn't report on. I guess there was some FUD with issues with their DAO making decisions. I haven't done any research on actually what it was, and ARB pulled back significantly. Not significantly, but decently because of that. Maybe I'll look for that story and report on it tomorrow, now that we're talking about it. Outside of that, again, God, ARB's in the top 37. I didn't even realize that. It just hit me. Holy crap. God, look at that market cap already. Crazy, guys. ARB in the top 50, number 37 on coin market cap, no doubt. Coming out of the gate swinging. Look at the graph, 8.73 on the day. CFX, 9.73. Yep. All right, let's get to Bitcoin, guys. Spent way too much time there. All right, I showed you guys this triangle pattern yesterday. Potential triangle pattern. We did, in fact, break out of it and made a run close to 28.8, which is our giant, ugly, nasty line of resistance that has been our resistance for quite a while now. We didn't get all the way up to it, but we definitely were going in that direction and then instantly started selling off. Not to be the conspiracy theory guy, but you've gotta start to think that there is some manipulation going on up here. I mean, this is a heavy resistance. I mean, look at these candles, or these wicks, excuse me. They blow right past it, and you're like, that's it, we did it, we're done, we're going. Nope, sorry, sell off, see you later, bye. So either A, this triangle possibly played out. We could potentially adjust this triangle. Maybe we're doing something like this, where this is the triangle pattern. Maybe not. again, these are just ideas, guys. Per usual, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some random dude doing YouTube videos in his house. I am a terrible trader. Don't listen to me. But when I'm looking at charts, and I've said this a million times, maybe not a million, we're only at 70 videos. I've said this plenty of times. When you're looking at charts and setting up patterns, you're looking at levels, etc., etc. It's just ideas. You're trying to see which idea basically has the most validation. You know, when you're looking at your RSIs, you're looking at price movement, you're looking at, you know, all of these things, all of these little buttons and doodads and ribbons and you know, moving averages, etc., etc. You're trying to build a case, and whichever one makes the most sense, has the most evidence, that's probably the one that has the most odds of playing out. So yes, I'm open to moving patterns around, changing them, shifting them, trying to figure out what we're actually looking at. Because now that I've just shifted this, you're still in a triangle pattern, right? We have 1, 2, 3 touches at the top, 2, 2, 3 touches to the bottom, entering down here. So you're just trying to create a case, right? Create a story. What does that story look like? Who are the players involved, etc., etc. This could potentially be the pattern we're looking at now. I'll be keeping my eye on it. If you guys are watching Bitcoin, potentially this is something you can keep your eye on as well. Moving on to ETH. ETH broke out last night. Now what's interesting is if we go, let's say on, let's say the 8-hour. This right here could potentially be a bull, some kind of flag. We have a trend right here, which we broke out of. I was watching on the smaller time frames, if you guys know, a few days back. Let's go back to the 4-hour. A few days back, I was showing you guys a potential flag right here with our flagpole. Now here's what's crazy. We broke out of this flag that I originally drew. This would be the measured move. I thought we were going to retest off top of flag and take off. We broke back down into the pattern, which is basically the bigger triangle pattern. And then we shot up. Now what's interesting is we're getting a retracement right around the top of my original flag pattern. So was this, again, building your case, building your story, was this just a bear trap? I don't know. Something to think about. But what is interesting is from our measured move, I mean, damn near two, we blew a little bit past it, but we've got our 6.64%. It did its thing. Time to take profits and see what it's going to do as it cools off. Will it move sideways? Let's look at smaller time frames. Let's go to 30 minute. What's this? I mean, look, flag. Now, that's a significant run. It still looks healthy though, but it could potentially retrace. It could potentially cool off a bit and move sideways. I wouldn't be mad at seeing a bounce back off of this $1,800 level and turning it into strong support. And then again, we continue on moving forward. But here, I'll show you guys. This is the movements. This is what we're looking for all day, every day. Flag. Breakout. Again, like I always tell you, we probably get about 75% of these. If you get all of it, awesome. Doesn't usually work out that way. But what we're looking at again is another potential flag. Little mini flag here on the 30 minute. Right. Could it do it again? Yeah, it could. It could definitely do it again. Potentially up to, if it breaks out to 1950. 1954 seems a little off. We'll just say 1950, nice psychological level. Things to keep your eyes on, right? Um, Again, if you are doing this, I'm not the best trader. I do okay, right? I know some things enough to make me dangerous, I guess. But if you are trading, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I always recommend trade conservatively, use stop losses, manage your risk, etc., etc. Let's hit ADA once before we get out of here. ADA still in this channel. What I am looking for is that inside of this channel, if we go to, let's say, the 12-hour, I don't like that. Let's go back. Let's see what 22 looks like. No, daily looks better. Inside of this channel, which is technically a bearish pattern, because eventually it's going to break to downside. At least that's what the odds are. But inside of this, we are seeing potential flag. Something flaggish. Like this. Pennant-ish. Whatever they call these damn things. A million different shapes and names, but they're all kind of the same idea, same movement. So if we continue to move sideways as opposed to reaching up to the top of this channel, this is the inside pattern of this pattern I'd be keeping my eye on for a small move to the upside. All right, let's get you guys the news and get you out of here. Malaysia enlists China to help end USD dependence for trade. More and more countries, guys, are getting ready to drop the USD, the dollar. Concerning, since I am a United States citizen, as well as Balaji's quote that the US dollar is going to collapse, which will send Bitcoin to a $1 million, a 1 million USD price potential. Seeing more and more of this stuff happen is more and more concerning that it could potentially happen. But I mean, I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy. Who knows, man? So let's get on with the news. More proposals and currency concepts are emerging as Asia ramps up its efforts to distance itself from the US dollar. Hedge money. China and Malaysia are considering moving forward on discussions regarding an Asian monetary fund with a distancing from the US dollar, hedge money becoming a greater priority in the region. On April 4th, Malaysia Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim reportedly said China was open to proposal to set up an Asian monetary fund. The concept of the Asian Focus Fund was floated at a forum on the Chinese island province of Hainan last week, according to Bloomberg. According to Abraham, China's President Xi Jinping welcomed discussion on a proposed agency to help the two nations and others in the region distance themselves from US dollar and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Malaysia is among several Asian nations trying to detach itself from dollar dependence. Lots of nations are joining this. Part of the BRICS, part of whatever. Its central bank is working with the People's Bank of China to conduct trade in their own currencies. And there you go. China is making friends, man. In late March, China and Brazil agreed to transact solely in their national currencies, cutting out the greenback completely. An Asian monetary fund was initially considered in the 1990s, but Ibrahim, God, terrible, thinks that now is the time, stating, "Now with the strength of the economies in China, Japan, and others, I think we should discuss this. At least consider an Asian monetary fund, and secondly, the use of our respective currencies." So, and let me add to this, over the last year and a half, maybe a little bit longer, the Biden administration has told you, that they didn't see any inflation. Then they said that there's a little bit of inflation, but it's transitory. Then they said they've got to get control of this inflation, and then they didn't see it coming. And then they started hiking interest rates. On top of that, they've continued to allow printing of money for things that sending money to Ukraine. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you what you should or shouldn't feel about that. I'm just saying these are facts. Lots and lots of money to Ukraine. Printing money to bail out banks, whether you want to call it that or not. That's what it was. All these things that they can continue to deflate the dollar in countries that were accepting dollars are like, screw that, it's not worth anything. You literally are devaluing your own currency and expecting us to take it, and they're just standing up to it now. You can't get mad at them for it. So it's really concerning. Also in late March, a Russian state official spoke of a new currency for the BRICS alliance, as reported by Cointelegraph. It'd be another effort to distance itself from the dollar, incorporating the burgeoning economics of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. In October of 2022, the Chinese government researchers proposed a digital currency based on a basket of Asian currencies. On April 4th, South China Morning Post columnist Alex Lowe opinioned additional reasons for dollar distancing could exist. Lowe said more countries want to move away from the US dollar, not just for economic reasons, but to escape the clutches of gangsterism. This is what I'm talking about, though. Of the US foreign policy, which in the past 2 decades has weaponized its global dollar dominance with increasing abandon. Agreed. The end of the dollar as the world's reserve currency could severely impact its value compared to other currencies and crypto assets. It could have a knock-on effect on the $133 billion stablecoin market, which is dominated by dollar-pegged stablecoins. So, food for thought. Are there any other countries that are creating stablecoins? Is there a yen stablecoin? I think there is. I hate to sound like the fool that doesn't know, but I really haven't even looked into it. But dollar collapses. I'm not trying to be look. If you've been here long enough, you've traded Bitcoin and ETH pairs all day long. So just go back to it, I guess. But holding on to stablecoins means you're going to lose a large purchasing power of your assets. So something to think about. Moving on, stablecoin issuer Tether accessed U.S. banking system using Signature. At the time New York regulators took control of Signature in March, there was reportedly a system in place for Tether clients to send dollars through the banking Signet platform. Tether, the firm behind the largest stablecoin by market capitalization, reportedly allowed its clients to send funds through Signature Bank's payment platform, granting the firm access to United States banks. According to an April 4th Bloomberg report, Tether had a pathway to the U.S. banking system by instructing its users to send dollars through Signature Signet to its Bahamian partner Capital Union Bank. The report cited people with knowledge of the situation who added this system was in place at the time regulators took control of Signature in March. There's Bloomberg reporting on it. While the arrangement between Tether and Signature reportedly would not have been illegal, failing to disclose such information to the investing public would suggest high-risk practices. According to a Tether spokesperson, banks used by the stablecoin issuer always had access to several banking channels and counterparties, and associate entities wouldn't be affected by either direct or indirect exposure to Signature. The New York Department of Financial Services announced the shutdown of Signature Bank on March 12th, saying at the time the decision had been made with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation in an effort to quote-unquote protect the U.S. economy. Stablecoin issuer Paxos reported at the time it had $250 million tied to Signature, while Tether's chief technology officer Paulo Ardoino said the firm didn't have any exposure to the failed bank. U.S. lawmakers continue to look into the collapse of the crypto-friendly bank, the third in a chain starting with Silvergate and Silicon Valley. In a March 28th hearing on the Senate Banking Committee, FDIC Chair Martin Gruenberg said Signature had not adequately managed traditional banking risks. Though Signature had reduced its exposure to digital assets in the wake of the collapse of the FTX exchange, one user had filed a lawsuit alleging the bank aided and abetted fraud facilitated by former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. The bank plans to sell its roughly $38 billion worth of deposits and $13 billion in loans to Flagstar Bank, a subsidiary of New York Community Bank Corp. Gruenberg said $4 billion in crypto deposits would likely be returned to users sometime this week. Interesting. All right, guys, last story. Kind of a tragic one, and I'll get you guys out of here. Cash App creator dies following a stabbing in San Francisco. Bob Lee, the creator of Cash App and former technology chief at Square, has died after an unknown attacker stabbed him. Bob Lee, the former chief technology officer of Square and creator of Cash App, has died following a stabbing in San Francisco in the early hours of Tuesday, April 4th, local time. Bill Barhyde, the CEO of crypto wallet company Abra, tweeted on April 5th that Bob Lee was killed in San Francisco early today, sharing a report from a local media outlet that reported on Lee's death but did not name him. It's very unfortunate. Jack Dorsey also confirmed the death of Lee on a decentralized social media platform, Nostr. It's real. Getting calls, heartbreaking. A screenshot of Dorsey's post reads, on April 4th, an April 4th notice from San Francisco Police Department explained officers attended to a report of a stabbing approximately 2:35 a.m. local time, which sounds like he may have been coming home from a bar or something like that, which, I mean, San Francisco, everybody goes out late. Believe it or not, I used to drive for Uber and Lyft in San Francisco, so that it's not like, I didn't mean to say that like he was out getting wasted or anything. Finding a 43-year-old adult male victim suffering from apparent stab wounds, adding, officers rendered aid and summoned medics to the scene. The victim was transported to the local hospital with life-threatening injuries despite efforts by first responders and medical personnel. The victim succumbed to his injuries. Former UFC fighter Jake Shields tweeted on April 5th regarding the killing of a good friend in one of the quote-unquote good neighborhoods of San Francisco. He later revealed it was Lee, saying he hoped it will at least bring attention to these problems as he was extremely high profile. San Francisco's not safe, man. Wow, dude. That's rough. The San Francisco Police Department said Lee's death is being actively investigated as a homicide. No arrests have been made, and those with information are urged to contact the department, which can be done anonymously. Lee was the chief product officer of Stablecoin, the creator of a privacy-oriented cryptocurrency of the same name. He gained prominence in the tech industry for being the first chief technology officer of the Dorsey-founded payments platform Square, later renamed Block, and for creating the popular mobile payment system Cash App. Lee was a prominent Lee was a proponent of cryptocurrencies and said in a statement when he joined Stablecoin in December of 2021 that the traditional financial system leaves behind hundreds of millions of unbanked people worldwide and consequently excludes them from the associated benefits. Well, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more interesting news in that, but unfortunately it's just is what it is. No suspects. Sad. Well, guys, let's look at Bitcoin one last time before we get out of here. So if we've moved our triangle around, we're inside this pattern. Let's see if it's going to range, and let's see what decision it will make. Outside of that, that is all I've got for you guys today. If you do enjoy the content provided here on Boring Crypto.io, please, per usual, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, watch, like, and please share the videos on all of your social channels. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. I am out of here.